so is. Hey, Patty's here tonight too. Woohoo, we missed you, friend. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about a topic that I would say is uncomfortable for me because this is not how I do. I don't do in bare minimums. I'm a little bit more of an extremist and an all or nothing person, and I'm typically all in. But that can also lead to burnout, and that can lead to overwhelm, and that can lead to health problems. That can lead to a lot of things. And so you guys know I'm really passionate about helping you not just do this for freedom, for financial freedom and for time freedom, but also doing it with freedom. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't going to be some trade-offs and some sacrifices along the way. That doesn't mean that there aren't going to be some seasons of hustle where you are a little bit more plugged in and working more. But that is not the norm. That's not the daily. And if it feels that way, book a mentorship call with me because there's a problem that we need to discuss. Okay. However, there are times in all of our lives where something crazy happens in our marriage, or there's a major health diagnosis, or you are moving, like if there's a major life transition, something is just really, there can be many things, lots of financial burdens, lots of, trials and different things. And we're all going to go through seasons, and our kids get sick and we get sick and you just get hit hard. And it's important to know what is the bare minimum that I need to do in my business to, feel like whether it's you're still growing it or whether it's that you're just trying to maintain it or, whatever. And I want to precursor this too by saying, you guys know that while I'm definitely an all-in person, last December, I got COVID for Thanksgiving and my dad had to cancel his trip. And then December 1st-ish, all of my health problems that had gone away from Plexus all came back with a vengeance all at once and many more. I felt worse. And it was a good reminder of what people are going through because you can get comfortable, right? It's actually pretty easy to get comfortable in your new life. And I don't ever want to be comfortable because I always want to remember exactly what people are at church this week. They were preaching about complacency and how easy it is for us to get complacent and stop inviting people to church and stop trying to lead people to do all the things. But it's the same thing in our business. Like once you stop living with panic attacks and anxiety and all these things, it's actually very easy for you to lose focus, to not really have that why power every morning that I've really had for like a couple of years strong now, because I remember exactly what it felt like. I was there when no one was there with insomnia and 2 and 3 and 4 in the morning. And I was there, like all the things. I don't ever want to forget that because there's so many people that are living their lives like that right now and that are still where I was, searching for answers, praying for healing, all of it. But I found myself back there again after getting COVID, and a lot of people have. And I was just trusting God to show me why I had to go through that again and what he was working out in me and for the good of others and all the stuff. But you guys, the month of December, if you were with me in December, you know that I let my entire team know I am signing off for the month. I actually unplug off of social media for the last week of every year. So I'm completely off of all platforms and don't share. My team knows this, but I literally took off the entire month. And I could have risked my Portugal trip. We were in the top 50. We knew we were tracking about number 39. I was like, if I don't show up for a whole month, we could lose the trip of a lifetime. But I was like, if God has this for me, no one can take it from me. And this is not me trying to be lazy and just not work. I literally can't. I was literally battling like for my life last December, and I couldn't even take care of my kids. Guys, if you've been there where you feel like you can't even take care of your kids, you're not okay. Like you might need counseling. You're like super sick. Like, guys, you should not be worrying about making Instagram stories, right? Like let's be smart here. So in that season, for me, the bare minimum was like we know, and I'm really Patty, I'm proud of her. She went through a really tough season recently, and she had to have the wisdom to know my business is going to be there for me. I'm not just trying to take it out. I'm not just trying to be lazy. I'm not just self-sabotaging. There are things that require my attention that are more important that God has put in front of me. And what is the priority needs to be the priority. Okay. And again, if this is a pattern for you and your business is never a priority, like again, we talk about that. That's a different thing. But it's important to know what's the bare minimum, okay? Because we are all going to go through seasons like this. And this is not just if don't tune out, if you're like, oh, well, I'm not going through anything major right now, so this call is going to be a waste of my time. We're actually going to talk about what the bare minimum is, dependent on your goals, dependent on your season of life. And I'm going to actually keep this pretty short tonight. Believe it or not, I know you probably don't believe me, but we really are. We're going to be done by 9, I think, so that you guys can actually unmute and you can talk to me about some of this and give me feedback. And if there's anything you would add, if there's anything, all that. So you guys know that this is a good time to talk about this, because this time of the year, I think is busier than normal for people. We're just getting into it. We're starting with some of the fall stuff, fall parties at school, getting ready for Halloween parties, Halloween decor prep. Some of you do Halloween parties, and it's just going to pick up as we get closer to the holidays and Thanksgiving and holiday shopping and all of that, right? And it just calls this time of year also, to me, not, some of us are already there with fall and leaves and letting things go and all of that, but it becomes greater to me in Thanksgiving time, and then a lot more so by Christmas, that I enter into more of a time and a season of reflection, my past year and all this stuff, of family, of connection. And we don't want you to miss that. We don't want you to miss out on spending quality time with your family and enjoying the holidays or trips or whatever it is that you do and the traditions that you have to maintain or even to grow your business. Because the truth is, you can have both. And one of the biggest problems, especially for my all or nothing girls and personalities on here, is just that, is that you have to actually believe that you can be a successful mom and grow a successful business with this. Like, be a present mom and a successful business, that you can be a working mom and still build something like this on the side, that you can, we all have our own, right? Like objection, like hesitations, mindset stuff. And we need to understand that you can be present, reflect, connect with your family, go through a slower season, go on vacation and totally unplug and still maintain or even grow your business. And guys, I'm a perfect example of that. I ranked up, not just from what happened in December, my income held completely in December. It did not go down at all. We had like a $12,000 paycheck last December, and I literally didn't work a minute of a day in December. It was such a blessing. And in July, we went to Hilton Head for a week, and I knew I was going to try to get my husband to Emerald, and I lost my childcare on the way to Hilton Head. I was like, well, I'm probably going to have to start working on my vacation, and then I was like, no, God has called me to keep these priorities in alignment. We go on 1 or 2 family vacations a year, typically, probably usually 1. Plexus was really generous to us this year, but usually 1. I'm like, and I'm not going to miss it because I'm trying to hit a goal. If God wants me to hit this goal, and it is a surrendered goal, I have worked very hard before this trip. I know Amber did at the same time. She had a trip planned. And so we showed up heavy at the beginning of the month, and I'm going to show back up heavy when it's over. And y'all, it was a lot of hard work, especially last 2 weeks of the month, but I hit that goal, and I did not really work on my vacation, and I didn't but again, it's important that you know that you can have and you can do both. Okay. But you do need to know 3 things in order to do that. Number 1, you need to know what matters most to you and what your goals are, your priorities and your goals. Number 2, you have to have you have to kind of get yourself organized. So you need to have a simple system in place to get it done. And number 3, you need to do what you said you would do when you said you would do it. So I'm going to repeat that again. You need to know what matters most to you and what your goals are. You need to kind of get yourself organized, or you have a simple system in place to get these things done. And then 3, you need to do what you said you would do. So let's say one of your most important priorities is your kids and your husband, right? You're like, God first, family second, like, my ministry, church stuff, whatever, in Plexus. Okay. Like, let's say these are like your 4 big pillars in your life right now, or maybe homeschooling's on there, whatever. Everyone's are going to look a little bit different. But like, if you are saying those things and then you're always on your phone and you haven't had a date night in 6 months and you haven't opened your Bible in 3 months and you're saying God is first and you're saying your husband's first, but then this is a pattern that these things are not happening. I would argue that those things are not your priorities. They are what you want maybe to be your priorities, but they are not. And my coach that I was working with really helped me pull this out recently, that I had to make some changes too. And also, I wasn't really showing up the way I wanted to show up in my home and for my kids. I just shared a little bit about this in my stories, probably about 30 minutes ago, because I had a good reminder yesterday of the power of, I wanted to show you guys this sheet. This time of year, when it gets extra busy, I have to be a little bit more organized. Otherwise, I'm going to be snappy. I'm going to be irritable. I'm going to feel like I'm failing at things. I'm going to push Plexus away and be like, you know what? I just don't have the time for this. So I'm not doing anything, because again, my all or nothing girls can kind of very easily just shut down and be like, this is pulling me away from my husband. This is taking up too much of my time. It's not that. It's the way that you're going about it. Okay. So we have to be aware of our tendencies, and you may not do that, but I have been the queen of that over the last 2 years. Poor Chelsea once a month when I say I'm quitting Plexus because I don't have the time for it. So what I did this weekend was I decided to say, instead of feeling like there's all these things in my business that I need to do that I never get done, I'm just going to brain dump absolutely everything that I feel like has to get done, from prepping for a team call to running a team call to making my email content for my emails for the week. I'm going to like my customer care check-ins, posting on stories or posting on social media, content creation, mentorship calls, all these things. And I also thought about what I have to do in my home, like making a meal plan so that I can go to the grocery store and not buy a million random things and then have nothing I need for an actual meal, right? Like, am I going to Instacart? Am I going to go to the store? It doesn't matter. Like when we have church, when I'm serving, when everything, when I have to pick this one up, drop this one off, when I'm homeschooling. And I've learned that I actually have a lot more peace when I'm like, I'm homeschooling right now. I don't have to answer Amber's message, for example. I don't have to text Patty. This is my homeschool time. And when I focus on it, I actually have a more enjoyable time with my son. We actually get it done sooner, which creates kind of more time in my day for other things. And so I do what I said I would do in that moment. And guys, I'll be honest, I'm always transparent with you guys. I don't actually do this super well. So I finally was like, I need to do this. So on Sunday, I take a day off because that's a priority for me. It was not always. So don't put my conviction on yourself. It's just become one. And where I'm at, I need a day to just unplug, refresh, all that. So I picked Sunday, and on Sunday, I ended up saying, this is the one thing I'm going to do in the afternoon. I'm going to I went on and I Googled free time blocking sheets, just Googled it, like free printable time blocking sheets. I've got a planner somewhere. I've got this stuff, but I just printed these ones that are literally completely like 5 days of the week. And all I did, I guess I forgot to print the one. It's pulled up on my computer right now, but I literally plugged in after I brain dumped all the things that needed to get done. I was like, where could I put in mentorship calls? Where am I going to put in inviting? Because inviting hasn't been happening for a while. And where am I going to put in these initial connect messages? For me, it works better for me to batch like 50 invites for the week on one day in like a 10-minute segment or 20 minutes, or whatever, than trying to do it every day. I have too many moving parts in my business to try to do all those things every day. So I assign certain things to different days. I'm now doing a follow-up Friday. I do customer care check-ins throughout the week, but like where I'm going to follow up with my team on their goals that they've shared and all that stuff like that. Or if I have a lot of like follow, whatever, I'm going to do those things with my ambassadors team, all of that on Fridays. And I literally gave it a time. Like, this is what I'm doing from 9 to 10. And my content creation is going to be from 10 to 11. And that's going to be, and that's actually probably not going to be a 2-hour thing, but I'm playing with this week to see what I need. So you guys, I actually wrote this down for 5:30 in the morning. I was like, in order for me to take care of me, I have to get up before my kids. I've not been doing that since Hawaii. I did it a few times. It helps a lot. I have to, but I also can't cut into sleep because we all know how important sleep is. And I did that, been there, done that, got a lot of health issues for that too, to show for that. So I'm like, I'm going to commit to no less than 7 hours of sleep, shooting for 8 every night. And I'm pretty good about that anyways. I'm closer to 8. But again, more on your plate. It just needs to be better managed. You know, people say that they just need more money, and if they had more money, they wouldn't have all these problems. And Dave Ramsey and all of his guys have this great quote that says, "Mo money, mo problems." And it's so true. The more money you have, the more you have to manage. We have had to learn to be faithful and good stewards with very little before we were blessed with what we've been blessed with now. We needed to be in a very so we learned how to steward that well over a long period of time. And I'm learning to be a better steward of my time so that I can honor God with it, and the women on my team and my customers and the people out there that still need me, but most importantly, the people in my own home, because I don't want the same people like my husband to keep not making the cut, right? So anyways, I'll move on to this bare minimum stuff because I do have 7 minutes to start covering all this stuff. But guys, I literally just wrote down a list and plugged in, and I wrote down, I've got to get up at 5:30 to have my supplements, my devotional, my personal development time. I was like, or 5, preferably 5. But this week I did that at 5 and no, 5:30. And I did that until like 6. And then I did my workout, and that was like 20 minutes. And then I did about 20 minutes of project broadcast. I literally cleared my customer check-ins for the day before my kids were even up. Talk about a great way to start the day. And I literally was like so excited when I got up. I felt really good. And I was able to just shower super quick, like in between when they were eating breakfast or whatever, and swipe a mascara and actually dressed. And I'm like, I can't remember the last time all those things happened, right? And I felt so good. And then later, our entire day went to SHIT. Like, we found out we were supposed to homeschool at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I just shared this in my stories. I thought we had a holiday. Everybody else had a holiday. Didn't know about it. Anyways, I was supposed to be making dinner, and there's one ingredient for my dinner that I didn't have. So I had to go to the store and get that while I'm trying to homeschool, while it's already 5 o'clock. And it was just kind of stressful and chaotic, but because I already knew, instead of being like snapping at my husband, like, well, this is my time to work. Like these 45 minutes, you have to figure it out. You figure out dinner and you figure out homeschool, because this is my time, because that's what we talked about. We like, I didn't get to do my time earlier, and I pivoted with Grace. It's a holiday. The kids are home. I'm not going to work today. It's fine. I'm not going to do very much. I'll just do the bare minimum, right? The bare minimum. But then, and it felt good. We're all roses and sunshine that day. But then Eden fell asleep on the car ride home because I cut it too close to her nap time. And so the 2.5 hour nap turned into a 15-minute car nap, if you guys remember how that goes, or if you're in that season. So then you're like, oh, no, nothing's getting done. I'm like, it's okay. I spent my time with Jesus. I'm just going to pivot with Grace again. It's fine. I'll do it a little bit. Like, when my husband gets home, I'll get that 45 minutes in. Well, that was funny, because that's when we realized we needed to homeschool. And so then I have to homeschool. And so I don't get to her. And I'm like, and honestly, it was a test and another test. And I swear to God, because I got up and I took care of me and my mindset and my body and my time with the Lord, I was able to, again, stay calm, pivot with Grace, help my family manage all of their emotions around the work he now had to do late at night on his day off. And my husband was mad that the school did that, and that everybody's like, and I stayed calm and they stayed calm, and my work got done. I stayed up a little bit later. So I got up a little bit later, but I still got things done. And this is the beauty of having a plan. You don't have to freak out in the moment, because you know that there is a time for everything. Patty, I love you too. Such a hot mess. Okay. Let's not pretend all these lists make me less of a hot mess. Okay. So what's the bare minimum? I think, like I said, that this looks different for each of us, for our season of life, and for our goals. So let me just say this to you. If you want to simply maintain your business where it is, and this is completely up to you, because this is your business, whether you are at silver, senior silver, gold, senior gold, ruby, if you want to maintain this month, next month, you could choose to maintain all fall if you want, and then just pick it back up. Like, you can do that because it's your business. If you were wanting to do that, here's what you would need to do. So if that is you, grab a pen. You would need to sign 3 or 6 people or so per month to offset attrition, because you cannot expect for you to sign no people and really kind of do nothing for your business to maintain. It won't, because there's always going to be people that stop for financial reasons as the holidays are coming up, that their money needs to go up. This inflation, this car broke, they, whatever, it happens, even if we're doing our jobs well, which is why I'm so big on the referral program. But even when people get their products covered, if they don't keep sharing, they're going to possibly have that happen again. Right. So what that means to sign 3 or so people, it wasn't 3 or 6, it's about 3 people a month to offset attrition. If you are just like silver, senior silver, again, you're just wanting to maintain your rank, but you would need to post at least 3 times a week on social media and in your stories. I would say at least 1 post a week needs to be Plexus, and you should be inviting at least 3 people a day, 5 days a week. So that's about 15 a week. That's about 60 a month. We know 1 in 10 is interested. So there should be at least 6 people interested, and possibly around 3 people that are ready, are going to sign up. Okay. Especially when you have this, you're doing this consistently over time. Those 3 people might be people that you talked to for the first time 5 months ago, and now they're ready, but that compound effect kicks in. But that's what I would think. Now, for credit card declines and perks, you would need to check those, because every day, y'all, I'm talking to your people, and every day it's crazy how many messages I get. Like, one of them today was like, oh gosh, I had no idea, or I didn't know I needed to keep, like, they literally legit don't know. If we're not tagging them in the perks thing, and we're not talking to them about perks, they truly don't understand how it works. And they're making all these mistakes. Some of them didn't even know that, like, oh, they just, their card expired and they forgot to update it, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's usually not what you think. Like, oh, I don't like the products and I don't want to stay on them. Like, literally, I see about 8 to 9 times out of 10, there's some mistake or something that they didn't understand, and they just needed it to be brought to their attention to fix it. This is your income. Now, if I'm your upline, or I'm taking care of perks and credit card declines for you, you don't have to do that. If you want to do that and you want to learn how to do that, and you want to take it over, just let me know. I'm happy to give that to you. But for most people, I believe I'm doing it for you. Now, attending to current customers, this is tagging people in things. This is checking those check-in messages. Sometimes people don't answer us. Sometimes they do. Sometimes we tag them in something. Sometimes they see it. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you're texting. You find what works for you to check in on your people. But I would just encourage you to evaluate from time to time, is what I'm doing working? Because if it's not, we may need to make a change. And supporting your team. Okay. So this is, guys, only 4 things that you need to do to maintain your rank in a season that is just full or busy. It is signing about 3 people a month or so. And to do that, you would need to, invite 3 people a day, 5 days a week, three or so posts about something on social media, and 1 Plexus post. Okay. And guys, it could be you take a picture of yourself and say, smile and have a great day. Like, there's always something to smile about, right? This can be simple. So signing 3 people or so a day is number 1. Checking your perks or credit card declines, unless your upline does that, is number 2. 3 is attending to your current customers and team with tags, check-in messages, whatever. And 4 is supporting your team. So knowing their goals at the beginning of the month. Guys, if you have someone under you that is working the business, hear me now. I am not their mentor. I am here. I'm going to be the mama bear for the whole team. I'm always going to be on there to hop on a call with anyone in my downline and love on them and support them. And that's the beauty of shared leadership, is that if you need to take some time off, you can point your people to me and I'm here, and they're not just going to fall through the cracks, I hope. But you are who they signed up under. You are who they need to see leading them. Okay. It's very different. They may not connect with me in the same way. They might not have a personal relationship with me. And the truth of the matter is, God led these people to you because they need you, your voice, your experience, your story. And the whole thing works better when you show up for them. So, but you should know their goals, even if you aren't pushing. Last December, I made it very clear to Vale, to Tanisha, to Candace. They were running and I was like, listen, I am not okay. My health is not okay. I don't know what's going on. I've almost been to the emergency room twice. I am struggling. A lot of people are praying for me. I don't feel okay in any sense of the word, and I have to completely unplug, but that doesn't mean I'm not here for you. I am behind the scenes. If you need to message me, message me. If you need something, an incentive code, ask me for it. I am not intentionally going to be posting and working my business and growing, but I am always going to be here for you. And just because I did say, and I remember telling Candace ranked up to gold last month, and I told her, I may not be in a season where God is calling me to push, and that does not mean that you are not. You need to walk in obedience to where he has you right now. You should not need your upline to be pushing and hustling for you to do what you need to do. This is your business, your why. If you are desperate for that income for Christmas, for the holidays, to get out of debt, to get a house, whatever it may be, you need to show up for you. I don't wait on Chelsea. Chelsea has never signed 10, 20, 30, what I do. I needed to do that for my family. I'm not expecting her to do that for me, or to wait for me, or tell me what to do, or show me what to do, or lead the way with that. I lead myself. So lead yourself well. So that's it. Now, what you don't need to do. So we're talking about bare minimum, right? This is really important too, because a lot of times we are wasting our time doing things that we don't need to be doing. You do not need to show up daily on social media. So please don't act like you do. Have your time unplugged, refresh yourself, attend to what needs to be tended to, and don't tell yourself you need to show up every day, because you don't. Number 2, you don't need to attend team calls. Love you all. Would love to see your face. You do not need to attend team calls, nor do you need to feel guilty about that. When you are in a season where you are putting this a little bit more on the back burner, or you're just trying to kind of maintain it, you don't need to do that. You don't really, yes, you might need to know the promotions that month. Guess what? They're pinned in the feature post at the top of the team page. You can just look there. You don't need to be on a team call. You do not need to check into the team chat. You don't. That can be a huge time suck. If you are new, you're learning, whatever, you have a question, great. As for me as a leader, I need to check in there and make sure I'm answering questions. You don't need to do that. If there's something uber important, someone's going to tell you. You don't need to watch training videos. And you really don't need to shout your people out or help them make a first post unless they need it financially to get their products covered to be able to stay on it. But if you are just trying to maintain where you are and you're going to do those things to sign 3 a month, you don't need to do shout out posts and first posts and all that stuff. Okay. So just helping you see in a bare minimum season, do's and don'ts. Okay. Now you can take that and make that live. You also don't need to be going live on Instagram and Facebook and all the things, guys. Okay. Still. Now, what if you want to grow, but maybe 50 points or so a month? Okay. Like, you're not trying to fast track to emeralds. I would say that what you would need to do, the bare minimum to do that, is sign about 15 people a month on your team, your collective team. I'm not saying that you need to sign 15. So collective team, because you will lose at least 5 or so people to attrition kind of at maybe that level in the business. If you're trying to go from senior silver to gold to senior, like, I mean, you're trying to go from 100 points to 150 points, something like that. There's probably going to be attrition of about 5 orders or so a month. It's always give or take. I'm actually asking for all of my leaders. I think I asked for all my leaders today, my RSM, to pull your attrition numbers. So I can see how you're tracking, because some people do better with customer care than others. And it's important that you know that, so that you know where you may need to double down or change some things. And just toward the company average, and just so we can see how we're doing. And I asked for mine, of course, as well. Okay. So if you are trying to sign 15 people on your collective team, now that could mean you're signing 3. That can mean you're signing 5. If you don't have a business builder, if you don't have anybody that's like working, then you may need to, okay, I'm going to help one person get the cost of their products covered. Well, that's only 3 orders. So you would need to do 12 yourself. Patty can do that. Jill can do that. And, a lot of you guys can do that. But do you want to do that? Do you have the bandwidth to do that? Or would you prefer to find yourself a business builder, right? Start calling in business builders, start sharing more about the business, or make it your goal to develop a couple silvers every month. And so there's different ways you can do this. But if you are needing to do that, I would say you would need to post about Plexus twice a week, 5 to 6 times a week in general. So like you're posting 5 or 6 times a week, and 2 of those are about Plexus. And you would need to invite about 6 people a day, 6 days a week. So there's about 36 invites a week happening. At the end of the month, that's 360. We look at our average, there's going to be about 36 people that are interested. How many people are actually going to order? I think you should be good with that. Okay. You do need to check credit cards and perk stuff who's dropping below, credit card declines, or I do that for you. So then you don't need to do that. Customer care, the tags, the check-ins, the encouragement, which is what people need most, and the belief, offering to do shout out posts for them. I would, to try to grow by 50 points a month. Attending team calls is probably a good idea if you're trying to grow your business. But that would probably be the most negotiable one, I would say, like that you do not have to feel like you have to do that if you're not trying to grow by very much. But you don't need to watch trainings. You don't need to make your own trainings or pages. Again, you don't need to be going live. You don't need to be, there's checking a ton into the team chat or anything like that. In those bare minimum seasons, it's just important to focus on what's going to move the needle forward the most. Okay. I will say, and we can keep going up with this if you want to grow by 100 points a month, 200 points a month. But the bare minimum, my bare minimum, I probably should have started with this expectation for anyone on this team, because it's important that I feel like I've realized as a mom, so often we get frustrated with our kids or our husbands because we have expectations that we have not made clear. Whether that's that you expect the kitchen is clean at the end of every day, whether it's that you expect, or like maybe we don't even know, but we need to make that clear, because what's obvious to us is not obvious to other people. So I think that it's important that on our team, my expectation, if you have joined this team that I started, I only ask one thing of you in terms of my bare minimum expectation. And that is that you take care of the people that you have signed, your VIPs in your team, because they signed under you. And if you won't or can't support them at any point in this business, whether it's for a week, a month, 5 months, I was taking care of someone's entire gold, more than gold team for over 6 months for a specific reason. And I will do that for you if you need me to. I cannot do that for everybody. However, I need you to tell your upline or your closest jewel, which is probably me, and ask them if they can, because it is your business. But here's the caveat to that. If you cannot take care of your people, someone needs to. I will be damned if our team is why there's more people out there in the world saying that Plexus didn't work for them because somebody didn't take care of them over my dead freaking body. So I know God's over it all. Things happen, right? Like I tried Plexus 5 years ago and I quit, but guess what? It wasn't my sponsor's fault. It was not. And I just don't want it to be that. Okay. So, but that also means you should not be signing anybody else. Okay. I don't know that anybody on this team call needs to hear that, but we should not be signing people if we can't even take care of what we have. Okay. So parable of the talents right there. When you have to grow serious goals. So you're like, Kim, I got to grow by at least 100 points this month or a month. You need to be signing at least about 22 new VIPs on your team collectively. This is going to give you about, did I say 22? Yeah. I don't know why I thought I had 25 down. Did I have 22? I don't know if I want to do the math real quick. Because I think I thought it was 25, but maybe it is 22. Because on average, you can always assume if you have a goal for points, here's what Chelsea taught me to do is kind of just multiply by 5. So we know that like Lisa hit Fast Start Silver. Oh, I forgot to shout her out at the beginning of the call. Lisa hit Fast Start Silver today. Yay. And so I saw the points were like 18 points, right? Because she has 3 orders of triplex under her. So whenever anyone orders a welcome pack triplex, we cannot get paid on more than 6 points. So if Lisa's mom is like, oh, I'm going to support her extra this month, that I'm going to order triplex twice, it doesn't actually help her because we can't get paid that 2 times. So like we only get paid on the 6 points per person. So if you think about typically someone that's signing up on your like level, you make 6 points on your level 1, but as you're growing a team and they're sharing like the next level and the next is like 5 points. So Chelsea just taught me to average when I'm trying to see where I'm going to land after subscriptions. Even though all my level 1s are 6 points, I just figure out how many subscriptions are still coming. Let's say there's 200 still coming and I multiply that by 5 points. So I know there's still like 1,000 points coming, right? So if you are trying to grow by about 100 points, if you sign 22 VIPs as a team, and it's about 5 points on average, that's going to be about 110. So that gives you, a wiggle room of a couple. Yeah, I think it was 25. I think I had 25 so that it was about 125. Yeah, that's what it was. I'm sorry, guys. So it was signing 25 VIPs as a collective team gives you a growth of about like 125 points. But because of attrition, and attrition, if you don't know what that means, and I never knew what that meant myself, attrition is just talking about the number of people that are kind of going to the points you're going to lose just naturally from people stopping their subscriptions. You're probably never, ever, ever, I don't know if I've ever, and I'm apparently pretty high on the charts for this, have never had a month where I didn't lose a certain number of orders. You just will. So if that's 125 points and 25 people, not 25 people, you lose about 25 points worth of people turning off subscriptions, you're still going to meet your goal of growing by 100 points, right? So now that could be 10 level 1s that you sign and you help 3 people go silver, and then you help like 3 people sign with 1. I know it might sound really big and hard to you guys right now, but when you duplicate well, when you are making sure that you have these people in this page and they are seeing these and they know, and they have the, Me+3 referral site and they're sharing, once you figure out how to do this for you and how to get people to share, it's so much easier just to keep doing it. And it really starts to become bigger so much quicker. And the same kinds of things in terms of do's and don'ts. Like if you're trying to grow by that, like I would absolutely like, be inviting heavily every day. Like we talked about, I'm not going to give you like exact numbers, but income producing activities, you just really want to focus on the invites. And just remember, if you only, when we're talking about bare minimum, if you are like your kids are sick, and as long, and you can do one thing for your business that day, one thing, and that's it. To me, it would always be if I already have people signed up under me that I have loved on them or checked in on them or figured out if they need anything, whatever. It's taking care of what I already have. And starting new conversations about Plexus with new people. So it's kind of like I have this bucket of like people. It's people first, people at people always. But that I want to, if I could only do one, then I would take care of what I already have. But if I can do people in general, it would be the ones I already have. And also like a post. You didn't see me make a post today. I hardly got a chance to make a post yesterday. Where I'm at in the business, the post is not the income producing activity for me. Do I get a crap ton of people sometimes that comment and want more information? I do. But my biggest thing is being in my inbox, talking to people and talking about Plexus and talking about getting people to share and talking about the cost and do they need the majority of the work I'm doing, nobody's seeing because it's behind the scenes. So that's what I would focus on always, is being in your messenger, talking to people. It's more important than posting every day. I would see so many people in Beachbody, and I used to be that girl in Beachbody that was like perfectly posting so many times a day. And you would have just thought I was bringing in bank and I was making nothing. Because posting by itself isn't income producing. It is part of it. Okay. It is part of it. but it's not the end all be all. The biggest thing is talking to people, inviting them. I've shared about that on the team page and in lives. So you guys have heard me. I don't want to waste your time. The next thing is, let's say you want to grow by like 200 points a month. You're going to need to account for about 50 points of attrition. So I would be focusing on signing 50 new VIPs, because that's going to put you at 250 points and about 50 of attrition. You're still going to reach your goal of 200. Now, that doesn't mean you're signing 50 as a collective team. Then you are. So like, for example, last month, Rachel Worsley, right? So she's like senior gold, and she has her own, like she's typically a strong recruiter. So she can recruit 8, she can recruit 10, whatever. Last month, like Kim, I think Rachel's highest was 21 that she recruited in a month. I'm pretty sure she still holds the record for like our team recruitments. She's a boss when she just decides to be. So she had like 21 people last month. Kim signed like 8 under her. So that's almost 30 people between 2 people. So if Rachel and Kim each developed a silver, like there's another 60. So you can see like, you know, and I'm sure that they could, and then help somebody sign their spouse or help somebody grab a friend, because not everyone's going to go silver, but that doesn't mean that like they can't grab just a friend or a spouse. I'm really blown away lately at realizing how many people that are doing this under me. Sometimes it's 2-3 months. And I sent a voice clip and we kind of talked a little bit. And then today it just happened. She's like, yeah, well, and my kids had ADHD for a really long time. I'm like, why didn't she mention that? Like, I had no idea, like this helps so much with ADHD. So I talked to her about that. And then she talked about her husband's health problems and her sisters and her mom's. Like, guys, like most people know 3 people within their own family that they could help, like truly. So, okay. I'm gonna, well, I won't stop recording, but y'all can unmute yourselves. I just wanted to talk about this heading into the season, because I know it's a busy time, and I think it's important to kind of tell our time where to go, to get organized and to know what we need to do, and make sure that we know when we're going to do all these things, and get as specific as you need to get, because it actually will bring you freedom. It will help. But then the kicker is to do what you said you would do. And I guess I should add this last thing: give yourself grace. Dave Ramsey, when we started doing his financial piece stuff, he was like, you're going to make a budget and you're going to feel like a flaming idiot. That sucker's going to go up in smoke and flames. Like, you're going to be like, what happened? We told our money where to go, and then we didn't even check it all month or whatever. He's like, and you're going to feel like you didn't get it. And you're going to get better every month. Just understand that you're not going to rock it month 1. You're just not. And it was such great advice, because we didn't. And we're a lot better at it now. But I told my time exactly where to go today. I was like, this is my first day with my new schedule. I'm dropping the kids off. I'm going to get so much done. And I did. My assistant nearly died. My email copy for the week is to her 2 days early, and even uploaded to the Trello board that she doesn't even think I know how to use, because I don't ever use it. And I literally texted her, and she's like, I just died. Like, I passed out. Like, I can't believe it. I've never seen you do this. It's been like, I've never seen you do this. I'm like, I know, but I also jumped into a chat with some people in the Southeast region that are at the top of Plexus, and all of these girls are struggling with things. And I just felt like they were all asking me how I recruit so much. And I decided to just make a quick video. And, a quick video for me is like 13 minutes. So I filmed it super quick and popped it in there. But long story short, I know it helped a lot of people and I'm getting a lot of messages, but the point is, that's not what I said I would do at that time. And then what happened is a couple of things I needed to do didn't get done, because I didn't honor what I said I would do in that time. So what I did is I got curious about why I did that. And it was exactly what Val said in her video today. There's something that I've been putting off, and it feels very big and very hard. And it was what I was supposed to do in that work block. And this was a quick win, because our brains love quick wins. We love what feels easy. It's very easy to say, oh, I'm just going to throw up that post. That's a business activity, right? No. Invite. Get in your inbox, right? So I do this too. But instead of judgment and condemnation and criticism and loathing myself, I was just like, that's interesting. Why did I do that? Oh, that's why. Okay. So I am going to move that to this day, because I'm not going to give myself an out, so that it still gets done. And I'm not going to make that mistake next time, because that's not worth the peace of mind. I would have felt even better if I actually did what I said I was going to do. So I'm going to shut up. I hope that was helpful. I want you guys to be able to enjoy the holidays. And I'm telling you, guys, I'm sitting at, well, you all know that Emerald is a 6-figure rank, and we're getting really close to Sapphire. And it is insane to me. I was telling somebody today, I have never worked a 20-hour work week with Plexus. Never. And right now we're trying to figure out how I can get 15 hours. I think I'm typically closer to 10. Oh, I'm glad this helped you. And I just want you to know I keep telling myself like, I can't maintain this business at the level that I'm at and have no time to do it. And like when we're telling ourselves these stories, they're very powerful and we see evidence of that everywhere. And it just keeps us stuck in that. Whereas when we actually don't stick to our story and we question it, you're more able to see solutions and things. It's like today, my kid was asking me, Mommy, some kids go to school early. Can I go to school early? And I was like, well, he's like, yeah, they get to play. They literally just play for 30 minutes before school. I was like, actually, that would actually really help me because I waste 20 minutes after I drop off Caleb just sitting in this carpool line. I could do a lot of work. I don't waste time because I know I get very little. So I have to do what I said I would do. So I was like, I could do a lot in that time. And anyways, and then I found there's this aftercare for an hour and I've never left my kids because they're already gone for 4 hours, but I don't have someone to watch my kids. I don't have a babysitter. I don't have these things. So I was like, you know what? Like that would be a whole nother hour that I get to work if I do that. So we tried it one day. They both loved it. They had so much fun. So we did it for the second time today. So I'm like, that's actually like an actual chunk of time that, what was that, from 9 to 2 then. So I'm like, wow. So I actually got 5 hours. And now my husband and I are trying to figure out on his Friday day off if I can actually work a normal day during the day and I'm like, and then so my point to you is, guys, there's like a couple busy days of the week that I like don't even get to work and I take off every Sunday. You can literally be a 6-figure rank with this. You can be pushing Sapphire with this. And I mean, literally on 15 hours a week or 10 hours a week. So just know that when you get focused on what matters most and you do, and you don't even have to do it perfectly because Lord knows I ever have. But there have been seasons when I've rested and seasons where I've pulled back and seasons. So you can do that too. Patty, feel free to unmute yourself or if anybody has anything to say. I'm so sorry you've been so overwhelmed. I've been there.
Hey, yeah, it's been a struggle these last few months. I got COVID right after I got back from our event, and my body was not the same. My mind, I just brain fog. COVID really did a number on like that portion of my body. I couldn't focus. Of course, I've got some things going on with my son, and my older son's going through a divorce, and the grandchildren have been a mess, and they're all depending on me. I'm the only lifeline they have. It's a mess, but I'm finally seeing a little bit of the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, it's been really hard, even on my marriage, and it's been a really tough go. So I've had to unplug just to say, okay, God, where do you want me? What to do? So, and I really appreciate you guys, your prayers. And I know you're always there for me. I try to jump on when I can, but there's just been times when I just couldn't do it. So this call I needed. So thank you so much for just the minimal, it just keeps me sane, being able to at least touch base with people when I haven't been doing a whole lot. I'm going to share a win with you guys. While I was on vacation last week, I went to see my son. My grandson turned 1, so I went to Colorado. And one of my clients, past clients, they had actually turned off her subscription. She messaged me. She's like, "Hey, can you talk?" I'm like, "Well, sure. What's going on?" She's like, "Listen, I am a firm believer that Triplex works. I stopped with this supplements 6 months ago, and I went to the doctor. He put me on his probiotic, his other supplements, and my gut is a mess. Help me get signed back up." And that gave me a little ray of hope.
Is that Ava? I'm
Yeah.
like, I know her name. She's done it before. If you stick around long enough, you see a lot of names again, like Jill's.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, let me get you cleared from the system. So I just called Plexus home office and say, because her email was still in there, although there wasn't, and I got her cleared and I got her signed back up. And I thought, you know what, Patty, you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. Because I was beginning to doubt myself after COVID for the second time, not feeling myself like you were last December, not being able to get with the program. My family was falling apart. My marriage was falling. I felt like everything was just like the enemy just took over. And then when she did that, it absolutely just, I thought, girl, people are watching. Stay put.
Yep.
So, I guess the moral to my story is when you think you're not doing enough and you're not showing up daily, you've planted the seeds, and don't give up on yourself, because even if you have to slow down, it's still going to be there.
Yep.
And reach out to Kim or any of us if we can help you, because we're a team. So
And better
that's
to
all I
slow
have to
down,
say.
better to slow
Yeah.
down than quit, right? What's that quote that says learn to rest, not stop or not quit or whatever? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't,
Yeah.
because, and you can, it's your business. Like
Yeah.
at that time last December, I feel like the enemy kind of came into my head, like, who do you think you can't do this? You have an Emerald team.
Mhm.
You can't take off a month. And the
Yeah.
old me in Beachbody, right? The old me would
Mhm.
have like cringed and judged
Mhm.
me like, what? Like you didn't
Oh
even
yeah.
post for a day and you're going to take off a whole month. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
this is my freaking
Mhm.
business. This is my life and my health. And I'm not trying to
Right.
hurt anyone. I'm not trying to abandon my team. I have to take care of me. And right now,
Yeah.
that's all I can manage or handle,
Yeah.
Thanks, Lisa. Thanks everybody for being here. Yeah. And so it's just like one of those things that you, and then you lean into like the part of this, maybe like Patty, for you, it might be more of the personal development or the community or like,
Mm.
because that's a big part
Yeah.
of this too. And letting someone know like, hey, I need prayer. I'm not okay. Whatever, like this, when you can, because we all do go through
Yeah.
seasons like that.
Yeah, we do. When I went out to Colorado last week, I flew in on Sunday. My daughter-in-law tested positive for COVID Sunday night. Benjamin, my 1-year-old grandson, got COVID. Brandon got COVID 2 days later. I was out there taking care of COVID infested people. God, I love them, but they couldn't have done it without me. And so God had me where he wanted me when he needed me. And I had already had COVID. So my antibodies were built up, so thank God, knock on wood, I have not gotten it. But I mean, it's just like, sometimes you just have to stop and you just got to listen, and it's nothing wrong with that.
No. But I feel like I can see you coming back through. I've seen some of your posts and I feel like and there's always a purpose to it. There's always a reason, if we lean in. Those seasons happen to all of us. They're brutal, but.
And I know I haven't said a whole lot on the team page, but I'm so proud of all of you guys. And some of your faces I don't even know, because I've kind of checked out. But I'm just, I'm just proud of you, because you've worked so hard and you've listened to what God wants you to do. And if no one ever tells you that, I will be your cheerleader. Just message me if you're ever feeling down and say, Patty, I need to be pumped up. Okay. I'm there
she's like
for
a
you.
ray of
So
sunshine. Even when she thinks she's depressed, she's still like pooping Skittle rainbows out. So
oh gosh.
I always know Patty forever. I actually just saw Brianne Coolidge. I never watch her stories anymore. I used to love to. There's only a few people in Plexus that I would follow, like Krista Deary, Kyle Rainey, wife Cassie. I think for a while I followed Jill Renfro when I was new, and like Megan Ashman. And anyways, so I saw her post the other day. Wait, what was it? No. Oh yeah. Her, and she said Alita from Plexus, the one that was on stage that sang the song with the fire and all that with the amazing lungs. She was saying that she's one of her good friends, and she screenshotted what comes up when Alita calls her. And she was like, if you don't have like an awesome video or like one of the best pictures from like your favorite moments with your friend ever set on your phone for when they call, do it now, because it will make you so happy every time they call. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go pull up Patty walking across the street. And I could do a video with like the cell phone in her hand to convention. Like, yeah.
Oh my God, that was so fun.
Like all of us and like me and you on the bike. That's what's going up. Me and you on the darn bike.
It's the freaking best, isn't it? God, Kim, I'll never forget that as long as I live. That was the best step. Y'all, I just love you so much. We've got the best team ever. And,
this will make you feel better. This will make you feel better. So do you guys know, Jill knows who Lynn Allen is, so she's above Chelsea, above Stephanie. She signed up.
Yeah.
She's a diamond. Okay. So, she and I met her finally out in Hawaii, but I've bantered back and forth with her for like the past year. And she's always been really nice, really supportive. She always does fun incentives and giveaways and things on her team. Like she posts a ton of like-minded stuff. I like her, what I've gotten to know of her. And we've talked more and more recently, and she was asking me about Arizona and who's going, and all that. Bye Val, love you. I'm not even sure she's still on.
No, she's gone.
And so we were talking about a retreat, because now that they've moved leaders to the fall, it's like a whole year away. Like they did it in March, but technically from March to the following November is like, like a year and a half. Like that's a long time. So all we have now is convention. And that's a ways away, right? So I was like, oh, then maybe I'll do a spring retreat for my team, like in Florida, and just get a house for like the weekend and just do our team style. So other teams do like lots of things and they're very busy. I'm like, no, my girls are just going to want to talk and have like coffee and tea and like hang out on the porch and like watch the ocean and like have deep, soulful conversations and cry. And like Jill and I are going to lay down washcloths in the shower because we don't know who had what there before. Like, all the things. So I'm like just being a team. But anyways.
Or you could do like me, take the bleach spray, go in there and spray it down before you get in there.
No, because then Jill and I are going to be like, those chemicals are going to infiltrate our bodies.
I can't help it. You got to just open the window and you got to kill it. You got to kill it. Hey, or you could wear those flip-flop thingies. You know what I mean? The slides.
Like the pedicure ones. Oh my gosh. But so Lynn was saying she was thinking about doing one in the spring too. So we might like combine forces or something. But I didn't know that they do Super Saturday. Patty, you know how they had Super Saturdays for Beachbody? Like they'd have them here in Atlanta, but they were just like a 1 day, couple hour thing. It's the same thing. So I was like, well, that's really far to go to Arizona for like a little thing if it's just like a day, not even a day. But apparently like everyone goes. They're like, it's so powerful, the live events. I'm like, really? People travel? But it seems like everybody does. And they're like, yes.
1 day?
Yes.
Wow.
I know. Like I'm surprised.
Get your tickets from Southwest. I think they're $50 right now.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, check Southwest.
I get that for convention, like the importance of getting your team to convention and the importance of like showing up to events, but like convention's a whole weekend. Like that's a whole different thing. Like I'm like, this is, well, I wasn't going to go, but then there's actually a significant amount of interest on the team. It sounds like, okay, maybe I should go, but I don't know if we would turn it into a weekend thing. So like, it's like we go out on Friday, but also stay Saturday night, or if people just want to get back to their husbands and kids, like, I don't know, but you want it to be worth the price of the flight.
I don't know if I want to get back to my kids. I've had enough.
Well, did you see that in the team chat? It's like September 14th or January 14th.
I did see it.
Did you vote? Did you vote virtual? Trying to remember.
I think I did because I've already used all my vacation time for this year for my job.
Okay.
My that job. So even if I get sick, I'm screwed for the rest of the year. I have nothing left. So I'll have to do it virtually, unfortunately. But, if it was in Nashville, it'd be different maybe, but it's not. So
I know.
I was so sad that I wasn't at the Gold School and it was in Nashville. I was like, that was so freaking close. And Tanisha was right there.
I know.
But I was actually gone. I think I was in Colorado when that was going on. So
I didn't go because Val is her sponsor and Val was going to go, but then I guess something happened. Oh no, Val got waitlisted and I didn't even try because Val said she did it right away and was already on the waitlist, but then they opened up spots off the waitlist last minute. Like literally last minute. So I wish I could have.
I met some really incredibly cool people at the airport convention on the way home that were gold that we're friends now on Instagram. And I was like, I can't believe if I had been in town, I swear I just would have showed up. You couldn't have told me I couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
I just would have stood outside and I'll meet up with them downtown.
Hey Phil, love you. All right. Well, yeah, let's hop off, get to bed. It was good to see you, Patty. I'm glad to see you back. Love you.
Thank you so much. I love you guys. Have a wonderful week. Rest of your week.
Bye, Rachel. Bye, Nicole.